this morning, I pulled up in the parking lot and I parked next to one of the cars. And I can see one of the people on the team sleeping. And then the truck next to that, I can see my buddy. He was in there kind of getting his head right for the morning. And I sat in the truck and I was like, okay. All right. Okay. I took 3 deep breaths and I got out and I walked to the bathroom, walked back to the truck. And I sat down. So what was happening was the guys on some of our team, some of the candidates and stuff, we went out to a team event and trained. It was my first day going out to this location with them. And man, I was nervous. I was real about that. Like I had butterflies all night, I couldn't sleep. And it's like I train with these guys all the time in my world. Now I went over to their world to kind of work on some stuff and be a student for a change. Whew, so the truck pulls up and we start loading out all of the equipment there. I'm not going to go through all the stuff that gets off the truck, but you know, some heavy stuff, some tires, you know, stone stuff and things like that we're doing. So as we get out there, we start lining up the stations. This station is one thing. Here's what you guys got. This station is something else. So let's say, you know, I'm going to give you guys some examples. So you're going to carry this stuff all the way to the end, all the way back. We're going to get here. We're going to take off. We're going to go down this area. We're going to run down the sand dune, up on the other side, coming back, and then you get to the next thing, and then the next thing, and you run, and then the next thing, and then you run, and then the next thing, and then you run, and then the next thing. And the whole part about this is it's a team event, so you have a partner. So my buddy is the leader of this group, and myself, we're partnered up. And he's like, hey, you know, when we do this, like, you know, we're pretty quick. We beat the times. We set this stuff up. So as we get going, man, first thing, what do we grab first? Hell, that's how bad my brain is today. But we grabbed whatever it was heavy. So we grabbed the stuff and we started off with one of the heavier things and we drug it was a sandbag. We drug the stuff down and we drug it back and it was my turn to drag and I drug it down and I was just immediately exhausted. It's like, I was like, so we run down the side and we're running in the sand and I'm like, holy crap, like it starts to weigh in on me. And I'm in good shape. I'm in great shape in my world, but I'm not in my world anymore. But I'm going, I'm like, I don't want to let my buddy down. You know, he's on the team and we're doing this stuff and we're going back and I started walking and I had kind of set a goal in my head. I was like, hey, you know what, if you walk, fine, take the hill. So I run up the hill and I get to the top of the hill and I'm like walking again. And I feel so bad because while we're doing this, you know, he's having to slow down for me. You know, I'm on his team. He's kind of put me as being on the team. So like, I know he's the fastest one there, but because we're together, I'm making him slow. And then it starts to rain, and the sand's in my face, and my eyes are burning, and there's sand on my hands, so I take my glasses off, and I put them in my pocket. And I'm like, sorry, man, and I'm apologizing. He's like, don't apologize, we're good. And we keep going, and I'm like, are we last? And he's like, I don't know, don't worry about it, you know, we're here. And we just keep going, and before you know it, man, I'm like dragging ass. Every run seems like a mile. Everything that we lift seems like it's 1,000 pounds. Every time we do something, I'm just looking around, and I feel so bad because I'm like struggling to not let him down, to not let the rest of the team down, because I'm also a team leader in some of the other stuff in my world. And I want to be in with the team. Like I said before, like team leaders lead internally. We don't just do shit from the sidelines. So I go and I want to train with them too. And along the way, I'm struggling. And he's kind of waiting for me, and he gets up, he does his stuff, and he's like, dude, it's good. And I was like, my bad, man. And I apologize. And he goes, look, this is a team event. You're only as fast as your weakest guy. And I stopped for a second. I was like, well, first, I'm the weakest guy. But it was secondary to me. It was like, no matter how fast he is, he can only move as fast as me. And then I kind of picked up speed, and I kind of get into my head like, okay, get over this shit, Victor. Get on the move. So I start working a little bit harder, and I go, and I blow out again, and I'm running across the sand dune, which seems like a mile, and it's like down and up, and I'm like struggling. And I get there, and I finish stuff, and then we get to the back, and we're looking around, and there's still guys going, there's still people doing stuff. And I stand there for a second, and in my mind, I'm like, yeah, you're only as strong as your weakest guy. And I'm like, okay, Vic, what did you do good? And I'm like, I always do that. I always do it, the after action report. I charged the hill. I walked a freaking lot, man. It was tough. But there was a part of me that goes, look, if you're gonna freaking half-ass and sham in comparison to whatever else is going on out here, just take the freaking hill. Like, don't be a bitch about that. So I darted up the hill. So that was good. The second part about that is I was like, man, I need practice. I'm out of my element. it was good for me to be there because I wanted to not just be a guy that stands on the sidelines or not just be great in my own world, but step outside of my world and be a student in somebody else's and find out where I'm inadequate. So while I'm trying to lead them, I got to know where people come from. And the second lesson I got from that was like, if I'm on the team, they're on the team, but the team can only go as fast as I'm going and I'm the weakest link. What does that say for me to be doing? If I'm going to stay on this team, you need to practice. That means, in my mind, all right, get this. I will go back out there without them. I will practice alone. I will make sure that I bridge the gap in my own inadequacies to show up every day or every other day or however many times I'm going to get out there and bridge the gap on the areas where I was the weak component of that team so I can make the team go faster because it's a team event. Our life is always going to be about how to overcome the next challenge. And the only way to overcome any challenge that you are challenged by is to become a person that worships practice. My voice is all screwed up. Do you get that? So I thought about that even with my kids. Like, I can't just randomly dart out of the house because I'm faster than them when I know I have to make sure that they have what they need. I can't randomly leave my wife behind because maybe there's some areas that I'm better than her at, and she's better than me at some things. But if we're in my world and we're doing what I'm doing, I can't just automatically leave her behind. She's on my team. So I'm only going to be able to move as fast as her. So it becomes my responsibility as a leader to make sure that my team understands what's supposed to be done, that they get the amount of practice and recognize the value of that practice so we can begin to work together. So as a team unit, we begin to lead and do stuff. That's why it's so important for you to require the people in your circle to be great, for you to have this value that we bring to them, because again, like I said, it's being lost in the world. So again, you're only as strong as the weakest person on your team if you are a team element, all right? And I can say that we're leaders in the world, so it's our responsibility for one, for us to put in the work to be great. Two, require everybody else to put in the same amount of effort that we are doing to be great in their world so we can compile and stockpile the amount of power that it takes for us to go to the next level without leaving each other behind. Because like I said, the way the world is working right now, you have some group of people that are great, they're willing to leave people behind. I'm willing to do it too if they don't want to fight for it and fight for what it is that they want. But I recognize people that are moving, people that want to be great, people that we require to be great, people who don't want to just be average and live a mediocre life or accept that nothing's going to work for them. The people who want that, we need to, one, hold a standard for ourselves, and two, require that standard for them. And then within requiring that standard for them, set up the opportunity for them to constantly practice being better with us. Because while we grow, we bridge the gap for them to grow. And then when they grow, they can allow all of us to go faster as a team. You see, that's what the champion army is about. We're an army. We're an army of one. If everyone's aspiring to be great and to practice at the highest level and to put in the work and live by a higher standard, we got to allow each one of us to work at the highest level possible. So if there's someone on your team that's weak, it becomes your responsibility for one, to celebrate this guy for showing up. To make sure that he understands that I can't go any faster without you, man. So we aren't losing. But within that not losing space where we can't go any faster, it is that guy's responsibility to say, you know what? Kind of like I did. I'm going to show up and I'm going to practice. I'm going to work on this. I'm going to make sure that my weak spots are taken care of so I can contribute to my team better. So that way we all cross the finish line together. Or we get there faster than we got there last time. And then the next time. And then the next time. And at some point we begin to lead and we begin to be champions so we can open the door for the people behind us. Because when we fail them from the front, they automatically lose from the back. And unfortunately, because they're losing from the back, because we're tethered together, trying to work together, we can only go as fast as them, or we have to sever ties. And man, right now that's what's happening. Fathers are losing their families. Husbands and wives are getting divorced. Businesses are filing for bankruptcy over and over again because there's a part in the marketplace that says, fuck you, I'm going to do it no matter what. But then when we look back at people that we can't help, we shit on them because we think that they're not us, rather than create the model of what it looks like for somebody to play at the highest level, show the truth of what it really takes, not go, hey, you'll be a millionaire or you're going to fix your marriage in a week. You go, dude, you're going to have to put in the fucking work. If it takes 10 years, this is your responsibility to lead from the front and do that. See, when we live and talk that way to people, they get it. And if not, they lose out. It's a team event. We are champions, leaders, protectors of the world here, man. The world is waiting for guys like us to show up. And it becomes our responsibility to do that, bring people into our world, live by a higher standard, hold ourselves to that standard, set the tone for what it looks like to practice and embrace that level of work that's required for us to win at the levels that we want, then we can allow other people to be great with us. And instead of leaving them behind, they begin to run at our pace too, because we can show them what it's supposed to look like. Where are you not doing that? You are failing. So many people, if you have a capability to go out there and model and be the standard and tell the truth about what it really takes and show people what it means to lead and hold yourself to a higher level of greatness, whether it's in your house, in your business, in your marriage, with the people that you socialize with, whatever. Be the leader for them. And that way we can be a leader with each other.